Every year in America, 1 in 4 adults over 65 experiences a fall, and every 11 seconds, someone is treated in the emergency room for a fall-related injury. The numbers are sobering, and for many, they're a wake-up call. But here's something most people don't know. There's a small group of seniors who seem to defy these odds completely. They walk with a quiet confidence, moving through life without the fear of losing their balance. And somehow, they never seem to fall. It's not luck, and it's not because they avoid walking altogether. They have mastered a specific way of moving, a set of habits so effective that it keeps them steady and secure even as the years go by. Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain and share exactly what they do differently. In this video, you'll learn 6 simple but powerful walking techniques that can make the difference between independence and injury. These are not complicated exercises or expensive programs. Just small changes you can start using right away. By the end, you'll understand why these seniors walk the way they do, and more importantly, how you can walk like them too. When we're young, walking is something we take for granted. Long strides feel natural, almost instinctive, as if our legs are eager to cover as much ground as possible with each step. Back then, our balance was sharp, our muscles quick to respond, and our reflexes strong enough to save us if we stumbled. But as the years pass, those same long, confident strides can quietly turn into our greatest liability. They create moments when our center of gravity tips too far forward or too far to the side, and it only takes one uneven patch of ground, one poorly placed step, for everything to change. I've met many older adults who never realized this until it was too late, until a fall left them with a broken wrist, a hip replacement, or months of painful rehabilitation. The story is heartbreakingly common. Someone simply walking to the mailbox, stepping over a curb, or moving from the kitchen to the living room, only to find themselves on the floor in an instant. But there's another story, a more hopeful one, that doesn't get told nearly enough. It's the story of seniors who've learned a simple, almost invisible adjustment to the way they walk. One that keeps their balance stable and their bodies upright even in tricky situations. This is the power step method. At its heart, the power step method is about trading in long, ambitious strides for shorter, more controlled steps. The kind of steps that keep your weight centered over your feet, so you're never leaning too far forward or stretching too far to reach the ground. When you shorten your step, you also shorten the time your foot spends in the air. This means less opportunity for a toe to catch on a rug, a crack in the sidewalk, or the edge of a stair. The result is a walking style that feels deliberate and steady, like a cat stalking its prey, each step placed with purpose, each movement anchored in balance. It can feel strange at first. If you've spent decades taking long strides, your body has grown accustomed to the rhythm and swing of that gait. Shortening your step might make you feel like you're moving slower, even when your overall pace remains the same. But that's the beauty of it. You're not giving up speed, you're gaining control. Each shorter step puts you in a position to react quickly, to adjust your foot placement if something unexpected appears in your path. I once spoke with a retired teacher named Harold who swears by the power step method. He's 78 now, still tending to his garden and walking to the corner store every morning for the newspaper. 10 years ago, a fall on an icy driveway left him with a fractured shoulder and months of physical therapy. It scared me, he told me, because it made me realize how fast I could lose my independence. His therapist introduced him to the power step, and at first, Harold resisted. It felt unnatural, like I was shuffling, he said. But within a month, he noticed he was moving with more confidence. I don't lunge forward anymore. I stay grounded, and I feel safer. The power step method isn't about making you cautious, it's about making you powerful. Think of your center of gravity as the invisible point that keeps you upright. In your younger years, you could let that point shift and still recover easily. Now, stability is everything. With each shorter, controlled step, you keep that center directly above your base of support, making it much harder for anything, gravity included, to pull you down. You might wonder if this makes walking feel stiff or mechanical. The truth is, it doesn't have to. Many people find that once they master the technique, their walking feels smoother and more natural than before. One key is to keep your movements fluid. The power step isn't about planting your foot like a post. It's about placing it gently but firmly, letting your weight roll from heel to toe in one continuous motion. This smooth transfer not only absorbs shock and protects your joints, but it also keeps your momentum steady. Let's talk about where to start. The easiest way to practice is indoors. where the environment is controlled and familiar. Pick a hallway or a room with a clear path. Stand tall, shoulders relaxed, and look straight ahead, not down at your feet. As you begin to walk, focus on keeping your steps no longer than the length of your foot and a half. Place each foot carefully, letting your heel touch first, then rolling forward to your toes. Count your steps if it helps. Sometimes having a slow, steady rhythm in your head can make the adjustment easier. Another tip is to imagine that you're walking on a narrow bridge. Each step should feel stable enough that, even if the ground beneath you shifted slightly, you'd remain balanced. You can also practice the power step outdoors, starting on smooth, level surfaces like sidewalks or park trails before trying it on grass, gravel, or uneven ground. As your confidence grows, you'll notice that the power step doesn't slow you down. It frees you to walk more places without fear. I met another woman, Lillian, at a senior fitness class who had mastered the power step without even realizing it. In her early 80s, she still travels, exploring botanical gardens and visiting museums with friends. When I asked her if she ever worried about falling, she smiled. "I used to, all the time. Then I started walking like I was carrying a tray of teacups, carefully, evenly, and without rushing. Turns out, that's the power step." She laughed when I told her the name, but admitted that this small change had given her the courage to keep doing the things she loves. It's important to understand that the power step method isn't about fear, it's about freedom. By keeping your steps short and controlled, you reduce the likelihood of stumbling, but you also gain the mental assurance that you can handle unexpected situations. That confidence spills over into every part of your life. You may find yourself more willing to join friends for a walk, take the stairs instead of the elevator, or explore a new hiking trail. Some people worry that making their steps shorter will make them look frail. This couldn't be further from the truth. When you pair the power step with good posture, head up, shoulders back, arms swinging naturally, you project strength and stability. You'll look like someone who moves with intention, not hesitation. And the truth is, no one notices the length of your step nearly as much as they notice how steady you are. The power step method is also a gift to your joints. Long strides often mean overextending your hips and knees, which can cause discomfort, especially if you have arthritis. Shorter steps keep your movements within a comfortable range, reducing strain and helping you walk longer distances without pain. Over time, this can add up to more daily activity, better overall health, and a lower risk of other conditions that come from being too sedentary. For those who like structure, you can build the power step into your daily routine. Try it while walking to the mailbox, moving through the grocery store, or doing laps around your living room during commercials. If you want to challenge yourself, combine the power step with balance exercises, standing on one foot while brushing your teeth, or practicing heel-to-toe walking along a hallway. These small efforts reinforce the muscle memory that makes the power step second nature. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. The more you practice, the more your body will adapt. And one day, you'll realize that you're no longer thinking about your steps at all. You're just moving confidently through the world, free from the constant worry of falling. I've seen this transformation happen countless times. The power step method isn't flashy, and it doesn't require special equipment, but it works. It has kept countless seniors steady on their feet and, more importantly, allowed them to keep living life on their terms. Whether you're strolling through your neighborhood, navigating a crowded farmer's market, or simply getting from your bedroom to your kitchen, these shorter, more controlled steps can make all the difference. You have the power to change the way you walk, and with that, to change the way you live. Each step you take is a choice between moving with risk or moving with resilience. The power step method is your tool for choosing the latter. So start today. Try it in your hallway, in your yard, or on your next trip to the store. Feel the difference in your balance, your confidence, and your peace of mind. Walking may seem like the simplest thing in the world, but at this stage of life, the way you walk can be the key to keeping your independence, your mobility, and your freedom for many years to come. When you ask most people how to walk safely, especially in later years, the advice they give is almost always the same: watch where you're going. At first glance, it seems like common sense. You lower your chin, fix your eyes on the ground, and scan for cracks in the sidewalk, uneven tiles, or stray objects in your path. It feels cautious. It feels careful. But in reality, this instinct can quietly work against you. What many older adults don't realize is that looking down too much shifts the entire posture forward, tipping the head, neck, and shoulders ahead of the body's natural line of balance. That small shift might not seem like much, but over dozens, even hundreds of steps, it begins to pull your center of gravity into a place where a stumble is harder to recover from. The horizon gaze technique flips this instinct on its head. Instead of staring at the ground, you lift your eyes to the horizon, just high enough that your head sits squarely over your shoulders and your spine lengthens naturally. By doing this, you restore your body's alignment and keep your weight balanced over your feet, where it belongs. You're not ignoring the ground. You're simply using your peripheral vision to scan for hazards while keeping your posture steady and upright. I first learned about this technique from a physical therapist who worked with veterans in their 70s and 80s. Many of her clients came in after falls, frustrated and sometimes embarrassed. "I thought I was being careful," they would say. "I was looking down the whole time." She would explain that our eyes and posture are deeply connected. When you look ahead, your chest opens, your shoulders relax, and your core muscles subtly engage. This alignment not only makes you more stable, it also gives you a better range of motion in your legs, so each step is placed more deliberately. One of her clients, a former park ranger named George, was a perfect example. In his younger days, George had trekked through mountains, navigating rough trails with ease. But as he aged, he developed a habit of keeping his gaze fixed on the ground, afraid of tripping. This constant forward tilt made him feel tense, and ironically, it caused him to trip even more. The therapist introduced him to the horizon gaze technique, asking him to imagine he was walking toward a distant landmark, a mountain peak or the far edge of a meadow. Within a few weeks, George noticed he was walking taller, breathing easier, and moving with more confidence. He even joked that it felt like he had grown an inch. The science behind the horizon gaze technique is straightforward. Your body follows your eyes. If you look down, your upper body tilts forward, your steps shorten in a way that isn't always controlled, and your balance shifts ahead of your base of support. This creates a slight forward momentum that can turn dangerous if you hit an obstacle. But when you look straight ahead, your head acts like the top of a plumb line, guiding your posture into a vertical, balanced position. The muscles in your neck, back, and core work together more efficiently, and your legs have the space to swing naturally under your body. There's also a psychological effect. Looking down signals caution, even vulnerability, to your brain. It keeps you in a constant state of scanning for danger, which can make your steps feel hesitant and uncertain. Looking ahead, on the other hand, signals a purpose. It's the posture of someone moving toward something rather than trying to avoid everything. That mental shift, subtle as it is, can boost your confidence in ways that make a real difference. To practice the horizon gaze technique, start in a safe, familiar place like a hallway or a clear stretch of sidewalk. Stand tall, let your shoulders drop away from your ears, and fix your eyes on a point about 20 to 30 feet ahead. This could be a tree, a doorway, or even a lamppost down the street. As you walk, notice how your peripheral vision picks up details near your feet without you having to look directly down. You'll still see cracks in the pavement or a child's toy left in the hall, but you'll also feel more stable because your head and torso stay aligned over your hips and legs. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It might feel strange at first, almost like you're not paying enough attention to what's beneath you. But trust that your eyes are taking in far more than you realize. Our peripheral vision is designed to detect movement and changes in texture. It can alert you to a hazard in time to adjust your step without sacrificing posture. The key is to let your peripheral vision do its job while your primary gaze keeps your body in balance. Mary, a 74-year-old retired librarian, shared her experience with me after adopting this technique. She had always been cautious, especially after watching a close friend suffer a hip fracture from a fall. "I thought the safest thing was to watch my feet," she said. "But it made me feel hunched and tired." After practicing the horizon gaze for a few weeks, she noticed not only fewer stumbles but also less neck and shoulder pain. "I feel more like myself again, upright, confident, and ready to go wherever I want." The benefits of the horizon gaze technique extend beyond fall prevention. Walking with your eyes on the horizon encourages deeper breathing, which improves oxygen flow and energy levels. It also engages your core muscles, which are essential for stability and coordination. Over time, This can help you maintain the strength and endurance you need for all kinds of daily activities, from grocery shopping to playing with grandchildren in the park. If you enjoy walking outdoors, the horizon gaze can turn even a short stroll into a more enjoyable experience. Instead of staring at the ground, you'll take in the scenery. Trees swaying in the breeze, clouds shifting overhead, neighbors waving from across the street. This not only lifts your mood but also keeps your mind engaged, which is another important part of staying sharp as you age. Of course, there are moments when looking down is necessary. Stepping off a curb, navigating stairs, or crossing a patch of uneven ground. The horizon gaze doesn't mean ignoring these moments. It means returning your gaze forward as soon as it's safe to do so. Think of it as your default posture, one you come back to again and again to maintain balance and alignment. For those who want to build this habit, a simple exercise can help. Choose a safe walking path and mark 2 points, one close by and one far ahead. As you walk, shift your gaze between them, spending most of your time focused on the distant point. Over time, increase the distance between your points until your natural gaze rests well ahead of you for most of your walk. Pair this with mindful breathing and a relaxed stride, and you'll find the rhythm that makes the horizon gaze feel effortless. I've watched people's lives change with this single adjustment. They go from moving cautiously, almost fearfully, to walking with a sense of ease and self-assurance. And perhaps the most telling change is in their expressions. Less tension in the jaw, more light in the eyes, a small but steady smile that says, "I've got this." The horizon gaze technique is simple, but it's powerful because it addresses both the physical and mental aspects of walking safely. It corrects posture, engages the right muscles, and frees you from the constant forward tilt that undermines balance. It also shifts your mindset from one of fear to one of purpose, and that alone can make you a steadier, more confident walker. In the end, walking is more than just getting from point A to point B. It's a statement of independence, a way of staying connected to the world around you. By lifting your eyes to the horizon, you're not just preventing falls. You're reclaiming the joy and dignity of moving through life with your head held high. Try it the next time you step outside. Let your gaze stretch out ahead of you, let your body follow your eyes, and feel how much steadier, stronger, and freer each step becomes. Over time, this simple change might just be the reason you keep walking safely year after year, no matter what lies ahead. When you watch a young child take their first steps, you notice something almost instinctive about the way their little feet meet the ground. There's a rhythm, a softness, a natural rolling motion from heel to toe that keeps them steady despite their inexperience. Somewhere along the way, as life piles on years, habits, and perhaps a few aches, that natural motion fades. Some of us start shuffling, barely lifting our feet from the ground, while others stomp heavily, sending shockwaves through our joints. Both patterns may feel normal, but neither does our balance nor our bodies any favors. The rolling thunder walk is a return to what the body is designed to do. It's a method that combines stability, shock absorption, and smooth momentum in a way that protects your joints and keeps your posture aligned. The name might sound dramatic, but the movement itself is calm and deliberate. Your heel strikes first, then your weight rolls gently through your foot until it leaves the ground from the toes. Each step flows into the next like the gentle roll of a wave. Done correctly, it feels almost effortless, yet it can transform the way you walk, making every step more secure, more graceful, and more in control. I met a gentleman named Frank at a senior wellness workshop who embodied the change this technique can bring. In his mid-70s, Frank had been told by his doctor to walk more for his heart health. The problem was, he dreaded it. His knees hurt after only a few blocks, and his hips ached the next day. He assumed it was just part of aging until a physical therapist showed him the rolling thunder walk. It felt strange at first, Frank admitted, like I was overthinking every step. But then it clicked. I realized my feet were doing the work for me instead of my joints taking the beating. Within weeks, not only was Frank walking farther without pain, but he also noticed fewer stumbles on uneven sidewalks. The beauty of the rolling thunder walk lies in its ability to distribute impact. When you stomp or land flat-footed, the force of each step shoots straight up your legs, stressing your knees, hips, and spine. But when your heel touches first and your weight gradually rolls forward, that force is absorbed in stages. The heel takes the initial contact, the arch helps distribute it, and the toes provide the final push-off. This gradual transfer acts like a natural shock absorber, reducing wear and tear on your body and giving you a smoother ride. Another hidden benefit is posture. Heel-to-toe walking encourages a more upright stance. Your head stays balanced over your shoulders, your core engages naturally, and your hips swing freely without twisting. This alignment is crucial not only for preventing falls but also for conserving energy. When your body is aligned, you move with less effort, which means you can walk longer without feeling drained. Practicing the rolling thunder walk begins with awareness. Many people don't realize how they're currently placing their feet. Try this. Stand barefoot on a smooth floor, take a few steps, and pay attention to which part of your foot hits the ground first. If you notice you're landing flat or on the balls of your feet, it's time to reset. Start by placing your heel down gently, then let the ball of your foot and your toes follow in a smooth, controlled motion. Imagine you're rolling your foot across a paint roller. You want to cover the ground evenly from back to front. A safe way to practice is along a hallway or a quiet stretch of sidewalk. Keep your gaze forward, pairing this with the horizon gaze technique if you've learned it, shoulders relaxed, and arms swinging naturally at your sides. Take it slow at first, exaggerating the heel-to-toe motion so your body learns the pattern. Over time, it will become second nature, and you'll find that your steps feel lighter and more fluid. Margaret, an active 72-year-old grandmother, told me that mastering the rolling thunder walk changed her relationship with walking entirely. She had always been a fast walker, pushing herself to keep pace with younger friends. But speed had come at a cost. She was constantly sore, and her back ached after long days. Learning to let her steps roll instead of slam gave her a new kind of freedom. "I can still move quickly when I want to," she said, "but now I do it without punishing my body. I feel like I'm gliding instead of pounding the pavement." One of the most powerful aspects of this method is its ability to keep your balance centered. When you shuffle, your feet may stay in contact with the ground, but your weight shifts awkwardly, making it harder to recover if you trip. When you stomp, the sudden jolt can throw you off balance entirely. But the rolling thunder walk maintains a constant, controlled transfer of weight. At no point are you throwing your body forward faster than your legs can support it. This steadiness can mean the difference between catching yourself on a crack in the sidewalk and taking a fall that changes your life. You can also integrate this technique into other parts of your daily routine. Try it while climbing ramps, walking on grass, or navigating store aisles. The consistent rhythm of heel-to-toe motion gives your brain a predictable pattern to follow, freeing up mental energy to notice your surroundings, enjoy conversation, or take in the scenery. Over time, this predictability builds what therapists call motor confidence. The trust that your body will do the right thing automatically when faced with small challenges. It's worth noting that proper footwear makes a big difference. Supportive shoes with a cushioned heel and flexible sole will enhance the rolling thunder walk by making the rolling motion smoother and more comfortable. Avoid overly rigid soles or high heels, which can interrupt the flow of movement. If you use orthotic inserts, make sure they support the natural arch of your foot to encourage even weight distribution. Some people find it helpful to pair this technique with a metronome or steady beat. Walking in rhythm not only keeps your pace consistent but also reinforces the rolling motion. You can even use music with a moderate tempo, something that encourages fluid movement without rushing. Over the years, I've seen countless seniors regain their confidence simply by mastering this technique. It's not about changing the way you walk overnight, but about layering small adjustments until they become second nature. The more you practice, the more you'll notice that your steps feel quieter, your movement smoother, and your body less fatigued at the end of the day. Perhaps the most telling sign of success comes in moments when you're not thinking about it at all. You're walking across a parking lot, carrying groceries, or strolling with a friend, and you realize you feel steady, relaxed, and fully in control of your movements. That's the rolling thunder walk at work, keeping you safe without making you feel like you're working harder. In the bigger picture, techniques like this are more than just walking tips. They're tools for preserving independence, for extending the years you can move freely without relying on mobility aids or constant assistance. A single fall can change everything, but so can a single skill. And this one, simple as it is, can be the difference between living cautiously and living fully. So the next time you head out for a walk, whether it's down the block, through the park, or just around your home, pay attention to how your feet meet the ground. Let your heel touch first, feel the gentle roll forward, and let your toes push you into the next step. Keep the motion smooth, steady, and unhurried. In time, you'll find that not only are you walking more safely, but you're also walking more comfortably, with a renewed sense of ease and confidence in every stride. The rolling thunder walk is not about making your steps look perfect, it's about making them work for you. It's about letting the ground and your body work together in harmony, each step flowing into the next with the quiet power of a wave meeting the shore. Practice it, trust it, and you may find that walking becomes more than just a way to get somewhere. It becomes a way to stay strong, steady, and joyfully connected to the life around you. If you've ever watched someone walk with their hands stuffed deep into their coat pockets or clutching a bag in both arms, you might notice something a little off about their stride. Their steps look smaller, more hesitant, sometimes even unsteady. What's missing is the natural swing of the arms, a subtle but powerful movement that has been quietly keeping humans balanced for as long as we've been walking upright. As children, we didn't have to think about it. Our arms moved in harmony with our legs, swinging forward and back in an easy rhythm. But as the years pass, that natural pendulum motion is often the first thing we lose, replaced by stiffness, self-consciousness, or habits that keep our arms locked in place. The natural pendulum method is about restoring what your body already knows how to do. It's not a complicated exercise or a forced motion. It's simply allowing your arms to swing freely, like the pendulums of a clock, counterbalancing each step you take. The movement might seem small, but its impact is profound. With every swing, your body redistributes weight, maintains forward momentum, and absorbs some of the side-to-side motion that could otherwise throw you off balance. I met Eleanor, a 76-year-old retired nurse, at a community walking group who swore that getting her arms moving again had transformed her confidence on her feet. After a minor fall in her kitchen, she became overly cautious, often walking with her arms pinned to her sides or folded in front of her. It felt safer, she admitted, but it made me more wobbly. When a group leader encouraged her to let her arms move naturally, she resisted at first. It felt awkward. But within a couple of weeks, she realized her stride had lengthened, her posture had improved, and she no longer felt like she was teetering with every step. The reason this method works comes down to physics and human anatomy. When one leg swings forward, the opposite arm naturally swings with it. This cross-pattern movement helps balance the rotational forces of the body, preventing you from twisting too much to one side. It also engages the muscles of your shoulders, core, and back, creating a stable frame for your walking motion. Without that counterbalance, your body must work harder to stay upright, and small stumbles become harder to correct. The natural pendulum method also has a surprising influence on posture. When your arms are allowed to swing, your shoulders tend to relax, your chest opens, and your head naturally lifts. This creates better alignment from head to toe, which is essential for stability. If you've ever walked with your arms stiff at your sides, you might recall feeling tense through your neck and upper back. Over time, that tension can lead to fatigue, making you more likely to trip simply because you're tired. The free movement of the arms, by contrast, makes walking feel lighter and more sustainable. To practice, start by standing in a comfortable, upright position with your feet hip-width apart. Take a slow step forward and notice which arm moves in response. You don't have to force it, your body will remember. If it feels stiff or unnatural, try loosening up your shoulders with gentle circles before you start walking. Let your arms hang loosely, elbows slightly bent, and allow them to move in rhythm with your steps. The key is fluidity. There should be no jerky or exaggerated motion, just a smooth, relaxed swing. One helpful image is to imagine holding a small, lightweight object in each hand, something you wouldn't want to drop. As you walk, let the object swing naturally, forward and back, with the motion of your arms. This mental trick can help prevent you from overthinking the movement while also keeping your hands out of pockets or clenched in fists. I once spoke with Harold, an 81-year-old avid walker, who told me he had unknowingly sabotaged his balance by always carrying a heavy bag on one side. Over the years, that habit caused one arm to remain rigid while walking, throwing off the rhythm between his upper and lower body. After learning the natural pendulum method, he began carrying lighter loads and switching sides regularly. It felt strange at first, he said, like I had to teach my arm to remember what to do. But now I move more freely, and I don't get as tired. The benefits go beyond balance and posture. Swinging your arms naturally increases your walking speed and efficiency without you even trying. It subtly engages your core muscles, which are crucial for stabilizing your spine. It also burns slightly more calories, which might not sound like much per walk, but over weeks and months, it adds up. More importantly, it keeps your whole body working as a unit, which is how it's designed to move. Another unexpected advantage is the way it influences your breathing. When your arms swing and your chest stays open, your lungs have more room to expand. This leads to deeper, more rhythmic breathing, which in turn improves oxygen flow to your muscles and brain. Many people report feeling more energized and less winded during walks when they let their arms move freely. You can also combine the natural pendulum method with other walking techniques, like the power step or the rolling thunder walk. Short, controlled steps paired with a gentle arm swing create a stable yet fluid motion that can dramatically lower your risk of tripping or stumbling. The combination helps your body absorb shocks, stay centered, and maintain momentum without strain. If you're someone who feels self-conscious about letting your arms swing, perhaps you're worried it will look odd, remember this. The people who walk with ease and confidence are the ones who look the most natural, not the most rigid. Stiffness draws more attention than fluid movement. And once you feel the difference in your balance, you'll care less about how it looks and more about how secure you feel. Incorporating this method into daily life doesn't require special effort. Practice it when you walk from one room to another, down the driveway to collect the mail, or through the grocery store aisles. Over time, you'll find that it becomes second nature, and you'll begin to notice when you've unconsciously stopped swinging your arms, often during moments of tension or distraction. Catching yourself and returning to the natural swing can reset your balance instantly. Barbara, a 70-year-old who recently took up power walking with friends, told me she used to think arm swinging was just for athletes. But after learning the natural pendulum method, she noticed she could keep up with the group more easily and recover her balance quickly when she stumbled on a tree root. "I don't even think about it anymore," she said. "It's just part of how I move now." The natural pendulum method is a reminder that our bodies are built for coordinated motion. When we allow the arms and legs to work together as they're meant to, walking becomes not only safer but also more enjoyable. It's a small shift with big rewards: greater stability, better posture, easier breathing, and a renewed sense of confidence with every step. So the next time you set out for a walk, notice what your arms are doing. Are they stiff, tucked away, or burdened with bags? Or are they moving in harmony with your stride, gently swinging forward and back like the steady rhythm of a clock? Choose to let them flow, to give your body the balance it craves. Over time, you'll find that you're not just walking more safely. You're walking more naturally, more freely, and with a quiet assurance that every step is steady and sure. Walking, at its best, should feel like an unbroken conversation between your body and the ground. The natural pendulum method brings that conversation back into balance. And for older adults determined to stay active and independent, it's one of the simplest, most effective tools you'll ever have. Not something you have to force, but something you simply have to remember. Let your arms move, and let that movement carry you forward with grace, stability, and confidence for years to come. For many older adults, there comes a moment when walking without some form of support starts to feel less secure than it used to. Maybe it's after a fall, maybe it's during recovery from surgery, or maybe it's simply the awareness that balance and muscle strength aren't what they once were. In these moments, a cane or walker can become a lifeline, not just for mobility, but for confidence. Unfortunately, far too many people either avoid using these tools because they don't want to look old, or use them in a way that increases the risk of falling. The smart support strategy changes that. It's about understanding that mobility aids are not a sign of weakness. They are tools of independence, and when used correctly, they can keep you walking safely for years to come. One of the biggest mistakes people make with canes is holding them on the same side as their weaker or injured leg. It seems logical. You want the cane to help the leg that feels unsteady. But in reality, this puts your weight and support on the wrong side, forcing your body to tilt awkwardly and making each step less stable. The correct method, backed by physical therapists and orthopedic specialists, is to hold the cane in the hand opposite your weaker leg. This creates what's known as a tripod of stability. Your strong leg, your cane, and your weaker leg working together in a smooth, balanced pattern. Here's how it works. Imagine your left leg is weaker due to arthritis or an old injury. You hold the cane in your right hand. As you step forward with your left leg, you place the cane forward at the same time, letting it absorb some of the weight and give you extra balance. Then your strong right leg steps through. This crisscross pattern mimics the natural swing of the arms and legs, keeping your gait fluid instead of stiff or lopsided. Over time, this movement becomes automatic, allowing you to navigate sidewalks, curbs, and uneven ground with far more confidence. Walkers have their own set of rules. and misusing them is just as common. Many people push a walker too far ahead, creating a gap between their body and the frame. This forces them to lean forward and reach, throwing their balance off and increasing the risk of tipping the walker or stumbling. The smart support strategy for walkers is simple but vital. Keep the walker close enough that your elbows stay slightly bent, and move it forward only as far as your normal step length. Step into the walker, not behind it. This keeps your center of gravity inside the safety zone of the frame, where it's hardest to lose balance. I once met a man named Walter at a rehab center after he'd undergone hip replacement surgery. He was proud and determined, but his walker use was all wrong. He leaned heavily on it with straight arms, pushing it several feet ahead before taking small, shuffling steps to catch up. It looked exhausting, and it was. A physical therapist adjusted the walker's height, showed him how to keep it close, and encouraged a steady rhythm of walker forward, step, step. Within a week, Walter's gait was smoother, his posture straighter, and he reported feeling far less fatigued at the end of the day. Another aspect of the smart support strategy is knowing when and where to use these tools. Some people think they should only bring a cane or walker, just in case, and end up leaving it behind on days they feel good. But balance and stability can change throughout the day, especially if you're tired or navigating unfamiliar environments. Consistency builds confidence. Using your support device regularly allows your body to adapt to it, making it feel like an extension of yourself rather than an awkward accessory. There's also the question of fit. A cane that's too short forces you to hunch over, straining your back and shoulders. One that's too tall can throw off your arm swing and disrupt your walking rhythm. The general rule is to stand upright with your arms relaxed at your sides. The top of the cane should reach the crease of your wrist. Walkers should be adjusted so your elbows bend slightly, about 15 degrees, when you grip the handles. If your mobility aid isn't the right size, no amount of technique will make it truly safe. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Some seniors worry that relying on a cane or walker will make their legs weaker over time. In truth, the opposite is often the case. When used properly, these tools can help you walk farther and more often without pain or fatigue, which in turn maintains and even builds muscle strength. The key is to use the support for balance, not as a crutch that carries all your weight. Think of it as a dance partner. It's there to guide and steady you, but you're still doing the work. I've also seen how the smart support strategy can make a profound difference in emotional well-being. A woman named Gloria, in her late 70s, told me she avoided outings with friends because she was afraid of tripping in public. I hated the idea of using a cane, she confessed, because I thought it would make me look frail. After learning to use her cane correctly, and even choosing one with a style she liked, Gloria not only started going out again, she began leading her walking group on weekend strolls. "It's not about the cane," she said. "It's about feeling steady enough to keep living my life." The strategy also involves adapting to different terrains. Indoors on smooth floors, a cane or walker might require only light contact for balance. Outdoors, especially on gravel, grass, or slopes, you'll need to place it more deliberately, giving it a secure grip before stepping forward. In wet or icy conditions, using rubber tips or special ice grips on canes can provide extra traction. The same goes for walkers. Large wheels or ski glides can make moving over uneven ground smoother and safer. When combined with other safe walking techniques, such as the power step or rolling thunderwalk, the smart support strategy becomes even more effective. The controlled step length of the power step prevents overreaching, while the heel-to-toe motion of the rolling thunderwalk keeps your gait smooth. Add the stability of a properly used cane or walker, and you have a system that dramatically reduces fall risk. The smart support strategy is, at its core, about empowerment. It's about replacing fear with skill, replacing hesitation with habit, and replacing the idea of needing help with the reality of taking control. There is no weakness in using the tools that keep you safe. There is only wisdom in protecting your independence. So if you use a cane, hold it opposite your weaker leg. If you use a walker, keep it close and move into it, not behind it. Adjust it to your height, keep your posture tall, and move with purpose. Practice until it feels as natural as walking itself. These small adjustments may not seem dramatic in the moment, but over time, they can be the reason you keep doing the things you love, whether that's gardening, shopping, traveling, or simply walking across your living room with confidence. Remember, Every step you take is part of the life you're still building. The smart support strategy isn't just about avoiding falls. It's about giving yourself the freedom to keep going, keep moving, and keep living on your terms. Your cane or walker isn't the end of your independence. It's the bridge that keeps you connected to it. And when you learn to use it the right way, it becomes less a reminder of what's changed and more a symbol of all the places you can still go. There's a quiet kind of training that doesn't happen in a gym, doesn't require a set of weights, and doesn't involve a stopwatch. You don't put on workout clothes, you don't schedule it into your calendar, and no one applauds when you finish. Yet, over time, it can be the single most important reason you stay on your feet instead of on the floor. I call it the invisible training method, a way of weaving balance and stability exercises into the everyday moments of your life until they become as natural and automatic as breathing. The beauty of this method is that it turns ordinary routines into opportunities for strengthening the very systems that keep you upright. Your muscles, your joints, your inner ear, and your nervous system. It's about creating fall-proof muscle memory, so that when life throws you an unexpected wobble, a crack in the sidewalk, a playful dog jumping at your legs, a grocery bag that shifts its weight, you don't have to think about your response. Your body just knows what to do. I first saw the power of this method in my neighbor, Ruth. At 82, she still tends her rose garden every morning and bakes pies for her church on weekends. One day, while we chatted on the sidewalk, I noticed she was standing on one leg without even realizing it, the other foot resting lightly against her ankle. Later, she told me she does it while brushing her teeth, folding laundry, or waiting for the kettle to boil. If I don't use my balance every day, I'll lose it, she said with a shrug. That's the heart of the invisible training method. Making balance part of the way you live, not just something you work on for 10 minutes in a class. The most effective invisible exercises are simple and safe. One of the easiest is the single leg stand. While waiting for your coffee to brew or your toast to pop, lift one foot an inch or two off the ground and hold it there. Keep your core gently engaged, your gaze forward, and your shoulders relaxed. Switch legs after 30 seconds or so. At first, you might wobble, but that's exactly the point. Your body is learning to correct itself in real time, just like it would if you tripped or stepped on something uneven. Another powerful move is the heel-to-toe walk. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other. Do this down a hallway or along a kitchen counter where you can grab support if needed. This exercise trains the small stabilizing muscles in your ankles and hips, which are often the first to weaken with age. Strengthening them improves your ability to recover from a stumble before it turns into a fall. Even sitting down and standing up can become invisible training. The next time you get out of a chair, try doing it without using your hands. This engages your thighs, glutes, and core muscles, the ones you rely on every time you rise from a low surface. If you feel unsteady, keep your hands nearby for support, but aim to use them less over time. The beauty of the invisible training method is that it can be tailored to fit your life perfectly. Waiting in line at the grocery store? Shift your weight slowly from one foot to the other. Talking on the phone? Stand instead of sitting, and occasionally lift one knee. Watching TV? During commercials, practice stepping sideways or walking backward a few steps to challenge your coordination. I remember speaking with Robert, a 70-year-old retired firefighter, who told me that the invisible training method reminded him of the drills he used to do on the job. Back then, we trained so that in an emergency, we didn't have to think, we just acted, he said. This is the same thing, just for staying upright instead of running into burning buildings. That's exactly the goal, to make balance and recovery so familiar that your body reacts before your mind even registers the danger. This kind of training also benefits more than just your legs and core. It sharpens your reflexes, strengthens your connection between mind and body, and improves your spatial awareness. You start noticing things you might have overlooked before: a loose rug corner, a slightly sloped sidewalk, a step that's higher than the others. Awareness itself becomes part of your defense against falls. It's worth noting that invisible training doesn't replace formal exercise. Walking, strength training, and stretching all play vital roles in keeping you healthy. But for many older adults, the real challenge is fitting extra workouts into an already full day or maintaining the motivation to stick with them. The invisible training method removes that barrier by making the work part of what you're already doing. No extra time, no extra trips, no special gear. Just a new way of moving through the life you already live. One common concern I hear is, what if I lose my balance while practicing? The answer is simple. Set yourself up for success. Always practice near a stable surface, a countertop, a sturdy chair, or even a wall, so you can catch yourself if needed. Start with small challenges and build up gradually. The goal is not to push yourself to the point of falling. It's to create consistent, gentle demands on your balance system so it learns and adapts. I've seen people transform their stability in just a few months with these small, daily practices. Margaret, a 75-year-old widow, used to avoid walking to her mailbox because the gravel driveway made her nervous. After adding invisible training to her mornings, single leg stands while waiting for her tea, heel-to-toe walks down the hallway, she found herself making the trip without even thinking about it. "It's like my body remembers how to keep me steady," she said with a smile. The real magic of the invisible training method is in how it changes your mindset. Instead of feeling fragile or fearful, you start to feel capable again. You know that your balance isn't just something you hope will be there when you need it. It's something you've built, step by step, moment by moment, without interrupting your life. That kind of confidence is priceless. Incorporating this method can also make other activities safer and more enjoyable. Gardening, for example, often involves bending, twisting, and stepping over uneven ground. Cooking might require pivoting quickly from counter to stove. Playing with grandchildren could mean getting down to the floor and standing back up. When you've been quietly training your balance every day, these movements feel less risky and more natural. And here's something many people don't realize. Balance is like language. If you don't use it, you lose it. But if you practice it, even in small doses, you can maintain and even improve it well into your 80s and beyond. That's the promise of the invisible training method. It's never too late to start, and every little bit counts. So tomorrow morning, as you brush your teeth, lift one foot. When you walk down the hallway, place each foot heel to toe. Stand up from your chair without using your hands. Let these moments stack up day after day, until they become part of who you are. You won't need to announce that you're working on your balance. You'll simply live it. Over time, you'll notice the difference not just in how you move, but in how you feel. More grounded, more aware, more ready for whatever lies ahead. And the best part is, no one else has to see the work you're doing. The invisible training method is for you. Quiet, consistent, and deeply effective. Because in the end, staying steady on your feet isn't about one big change or a dramatic workout routine. It's about the little choices you make, moment after moment, that add up to a life lived with strength, safety, and confidence. And with every invisible step you take, you're building a future where you keep walking forward. Not with fear, but with a quiet assurance that your body knows exactly how to keep you standing tall. Your gait is more than just the way you move. It's either your greatest vulnerability or your strongest defense. Every step you take can lean toward risk or safety, and the choice is in your hands. By making small but intentional changes to the way you walk, by practicing balance in your everyday life, you give yourself the power to stay steady, independent, and confident for years to come. Falling is not an unavoidable part of aging. It's a challenge you can prepare for and, in many cases, completely prevent. Think about it. Your posture, your stride, your awareness, and your balance are like tools you carry with you everywhere. Use them wisely, and they become invisible armor, protecting you in the moments that matter most. With every short, steady step, every gentle arm swing, every quiet balance exercise you work into your day, you're building a body that knows how to recover, adapt, and keep moving forward. So I'd like to hear from you. Which of these walking techniques will you start using today? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your story might inspire someone else to take their first step toward a safer, more confident future. And if this video has been helpful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend or family member who could benefit from these tips. In our next video, we'll explore a surprising list of foods that can help strengthen your bones after 60. Simple, delicious choices that can make your skeleton as resilient as your spirit. Until then, stay strong, stay safe, and remember, every step you take is a chance to protect your independence and live the life you love. There's a quiet kind of training that doesn't happen in a gym, doesn't require a set of weights, and doesn't involve a stopwatch. You don't put on workout clothes, you don't schedule it into your calendar, and no one applauds when you finish. Yet, over time, it can be the single most important reason you stay on your feet instead of on the floor. I call it the invisible training method, a way of weaving balance and stability exercises into the everyday moments of your life until they become as natural and automatic as breathing. The beauty of this method is that it turns ordinary routines into opportunities for strengthening the very systems that keep you upright. Your muscles, your joints, your inner ear, and your nervous system. It's about creating fall-proof muscle memory, so that when life throws you an unexpected wobble, a crack in the sidewalk, a playful dog jumping at your legs, a grocery bag that shifts its weight, you don't have to think about your response. Your body just knows what to do. I first saw the power of this method in my neighbor, Ruth. At 82, she still tends her rose garden every morning and bakes pies for her church on weekends. One day, while we chatted on the sidewalk, I noticed she was standing on one leg without even realizing it, the other foot resting lightly against her ankle. Later, she told me she does it while brushing her teeth, folding laundry, or waiting for the kettle to boil. "If I don't use my balance every day, I'll lose it," she said with a shrug. That's the heart of the invisible training method. Making balance part of the way you live, not just something you work on for 10 minutes in a class. The most effective invisible exercises are simple and safe. One of the easiest is the single leg stand. While waiting for your coffee to brew or your toast to pop, lift one foot an inch or two off the ground and hold it there. Keep your core gently engaged, your gaze forward, and your shoulders relaxed. Switch legs after 30 seconds or so. At first, you might wobble, but that's exactly the point. Your body is learning to correct itself in real time, just like it would if you tripped or stepped on something uneven. Another powerful move is the heel-to-toe walk. Imagine you're walking on a tightrope, placing the heel of one foot directly in front of the toes of the other. Do this down a hallway or along a kitchen counter where you can grab support if needed. This exercise trains the small stabilizing muscles in your ankles and hips, which are often the first to weaken with age. Strengthening them improves your ability to recover from a stumble before it turns into a fall. Even sitting down and standing up can become invisible training. The next time you get out of a chair, try doing it without using your hands. This engages your thighs, glutes, and core muscles, the ones you rely on every time you rise from a low surface. If you feel unsteady, keep your hands nearby for support, but aim to use them less over time. The beauty of the invisible training method is that it can be tailored to fit your life perfectly. Waiting in line at the grocery store? Shift your weight slowly from one foot to the other. Talking on the phone? Stand instead of sitting, and occasionally lift one knee. Watching TV? During commercials, practice stepping sideways or walking backward a few steps to challenge your coordination. I remember speaking with Robert, a 70-year-old retired firefighter, who told me that the invisible training method reminded him of the drills he used to do on the job. Back then, we trained so that in an emergency, we didn't have to think, we just acted, he said. This is the same thing, just for staying upright instead of running into burning buildings. That's exactly the goal, to make balance and recovery so familiar that your body reacts before your mind even registers the danger. This kind of training also benefits more than just your legs and core. It sharpens your reflexes, strengthens your connection between mind and body, and improves your spatial awareness. You start noticing things you might have overlooked before: a loose rug corner, a slightly sloped sidewalk, a step that's higher than the others. Awareness itself becomes part of your defense against falls. It's worth noting that invisible training doesn't replace formal exercise. Walking, strength training, and stretching all play vital roles in keeping you healthy. But for many older adults, the real challenge is fitting extra workouts into an already full day or maintaining the motivation to stick with them. The invisible training method removes that barrier by making the work part of what you're already doing. No extra time, no extra trips, no special gear. Just a new way of moving through the life you already live. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. One common concern I hear is, what if I lose my balance while practicing? The answer is simple. Set yourself up for success. Always practice near a stable surface, a countertop, a sturdy chair, or even a wall, so you can catch yourself if needed. Start with small challenges and build up gradually. The goal is not to push yourself to the point of falling. It's to create consistent, gentle demands on your balance system so it learns and adapts. I've seen people transform their stability in just a few months with these small, daily practices. Margaret, a 75-year-old widow, Used to avoid walking to her mailbox because the gravel driveway made her nervous. After adding invisible training to her mornings, single leg stands while waiting for her tea, heel-to-toe walks down the hallway, she found herself making the trip without even thinking about it. "It's like my body remembers how to keep me steady," she said with a smile. The real magic of the invisible training method is in how it changes your mindset. Instead of feeling fragile or fearful, you start to feel capable again. You know that your balance isn't just something you hope will be there when you need it. It's something you've built, step by step, moment by moment, without interrupting your life. That kind of confidence is priceless. Incorporating this method can also make other activities safer and more enjoyable. Gardening, for example, often involves bending, twisting, and stepping over uneven ground. Cooking might require pivoting quickly from counter to stove. Playing with grandchildren could mean getting down to the floor and standing back up. When you've been quietly training your balance every day, these movements feel less risky and more natural. And here's something many people don't realize. Balance is like language. If you don't use it, you lose it. But if you practice it, even in small doses, you can maintain and even improve it well into your 80s and beyond. That's the promise of the invisible training method. It's never too late to start, and every little bit counts. So tomorrow morning, as you brush your teeth, lift one foot. When you walk down the hallway, place each foot heel to toe. Stand up from your chair without using your hands. Let these moments stack up day after day, until they become part of who you are. You won't need to announce that you're working on your balance. You'll simply live it. Over time, you'll notice the difference not just in how you move, but in how you feel. More grounded, more aware, more ready for whatever lies ahead. And the best part is, no one else has to see the work you're doing. The invisible training method is for you. Quiet, consistent, and deeply effective. Because in the end, staying steady on your feet isn't about one big change or a dramatic workout routine. It's about the little choices you make, moment after moment, that add up to a life lived with strength, safety, and confidence. And with every invisible step you take, you're building a future where you keep walking forward. Not with fear, but with a quiet assurance that your body knows exactly how to keep you standing tall.